When you hear the word team, you may automatically think about the team on your job or in your business, but remember, you have a life team as well. With that in mind, is your team struggling to perform cohesively and achieve goals? What if building true synergy could transform your team into a powerhouse of productivity and innovation? Hi everyone, Bernita here, and we are talking about synergy and collaboration, building high performing teams both personally and professionally. And we are going to just share some nuggets on how to build your results team. And remember, we are talking about a life team as well because you want results in your life, not just in your career or business. And I'm going to share with you some Olympic moments, and we're titling this or having this portion called the 10 by 10 by 10 lessons in 10 minutes over 10 days. What can we learn from our Olympic athletes and apply them into our real life so we can become the Olympians of our industries? So one highlight that I wanted to do was shout out to the mixed relay 400 team. Now, I may have, this is just my opinion. I don't know what's inside of the athletes' thoughts, but I am just giving my perspective on what I saw. So if you watch the mixed relay, which I thought was a very cool sport, or in an event, the U.S. team in the qualifying round, they set the world record. Blazing speed right out the gate, and even with one of the players almost making a fatal mistake, they still set the world record. But when it was time for the finals, oh my goodness, the Netherlands came from the back and took gold. And the reason why I said took gold, well, the reason why I said they took the gold, I mean, they earned it, of course. But when you look at what that the U.S. team did in the qualifiers, they set the world record, and then they came in second place. And then I saw Vernon. I can't. What was his last name? I forgot. Vernon. He was on the team. I think it was Vernon Norman. I thought he was hilarious on the podium. Of course, everyone, when you get to that level, a medal is a medal is a medal, but there's nothing like gold and nothing to take away from the silver and the bronze because those are amazing accomplishments. But I can just this is just me inserting myself into that spot. When you are on a team that set the world record in the semis and then you come in second place, that has to be a disappointing feeling. And there was something off about the synergy of the team. Let me tell you what the Netherlands did this is why it's important to focus on your team and do all of the things like planning, going back with the coach, finding your mistakes. The Netherlands, they substituted a runner who was phenomenal at the end. The U.S. team didn't substitute anyone, although they could have. And I thought they were going to make a substitution, but they chose not to. They chose to go with the original world record holders, right? And you would think that would be the smart thing to do. But the Netherlands, although I don't remember what they did in the semi, but they did this tweak and it allowed them to win the gold. And I can only imagine Vernon on that podium, like, had we just made that tweak, then we could have been gold. And I believe that. So as you are looking at your life, again, this could go for your professional team, your business team, or just your life team. And that could be family, friends, it could be your spouse, it could be any caregivers, it could be personal assistants, anything like that. You can build your team as well. Services that you automate, I consider those teams because you still have to contact someone and then work them in, to build your life plan, So don't just limit what you think a team is. But what are some things that you can, strategically move out of the way? And if you can't see them, then this is where you will talk to the coach. You are the first coach. You are the coach of your life. So there are some things I believe that you can coach yourself first. So there are some things that you can look at right now in your life and say, you know what, this is not working. I need to make this adjustment and get the ball rolling. And then as you start seeing results and you want to execute faster, or go higher, then you can start getting a coach. I think some people make the mistake of getting a coach too soon and not knowing, even where to start. Or if you are getting a coach, and you go straight out the gate, you want to make sure that coach knows, like, you know what, let's not, I'm not, you're not ready for this level. Let's get some other things in place so I can take you to that level. There are some phenomenal coaches and that's why some people stay with these coaches for years and years because they didn't just give them what the person came in for and allow them to crash and burn. They took them where they needed to be and they scaled them up. And that's not always in business. That's also in, your personal life as well. I learned that to where I went straight to the top and I was not ready to work with certain coaches, but those coaches weren't in the spot to say, hey, I think you need to start here. I'm not going anywhere, but start here and then work your way back up. And that's something that I started to take personally, even though I do have high level coaching and high level programs. My background as an educator allowed me to say, you know what? I don't think you're ready for the gifted advanced accelerated course. Let's start you here, but I know that I can get you to this level. So you want to do that in your friendships. You want to do that in your partnership, in your marriage, in your relationships, in your friendships, where you're starting, like, okay, I want to be this type of friend, or I want to be this type of husband, wife, whatever. What do I need to do? I want to go be the CEO, or I want to have this certain look in my body. What do I need to do? Where can I start? Okay, I can at least jog 3 times a week if it's weight release. But if you want to start tailoring your body, then you go with a specialized coach. But let's get back to teams. So, like I said, you are your first coach, and it is your responsibility to make sure you facilitate and effectively communicate how you want things to be orchestrated. A coach is not supposed to tell you what to do. Sometimes people are going to coaches for the answer. No, you start off with something with the coach, and then the coach can tweak you, help you along the way and guide you. Now, if you just want somebody to tell you what to do, then you're looking for a consultant or a strategist who gives you the plan. It would be brilliant. I think the best thing is to have a coach who's also a consultant or consultant who can also coach you to say, this is the plan for that particular thing you want to do. Now let me help you execute that plan. But you still have to take that responsibility and to facilitate and communicate. The other thing that you want to start doing is taking accountability and then setting the example for your team. We hear, or maybe you haven't heard this, but you teach people how you want them to treat you. So the first thing you need to do is establish how you want to be treated. Have a plan for your life. Have a plan of how you want people to respond to you. And I know it sounds weird and it sounds crazy, but that is a real thing. People talk about, oh, you have such confidence, or you see someone that's like, oh my gosh, they're so magnetic, they're so charismatic. And while I do think there are people who are born with certain traits, I also believe that you can kind of build yourself. You can make yourself into a type of person. Now, let's not get too deep. Of course, God created us to be unique in our own way. He gifted us with certain things. He didn't give certain people all things so that they can just be these, magical, mythical creatures. But I do believe he's given us all the potential to be our unique star power players, the way he shaped and molded us. I also believe that a lot of us don't rise to that occasion. So when I say that you get to mold yourself and create yourself to be whomever you want to be, that's more about, I believe, who God wanted you to be. So you're really becoming who you were already created to be. So before any people jump out there, and say things like that, but you get to sit with yourself and say, I want this type of team. I want this type of personal team. I want this type of professional team. I want this type of business team around me. What are the things I need to do first? When you start doing that, then you start connecting with the coach so they can show you, okay, this is now how you go to that next level. So some action steps that you can do is conduct a needs assessment. You will hear a lot of life coaches start with a needs assessment. But I think what falls off is you take the needs assessment, you rate yourself from 1 to 10 in certain areas, and then it's like, oh man, I'm a 7 in relationships, or I'm a 6 in, my mental health and wellness. And then it's like, okay, well, coach me. But if you want to take the Olympian approach, then it's like, let's break down what that 7 means in that particular area. What does it take to get a 10? What does it look like if we fall back to a 5? What does it look like to fall back as a 1? Are when do we expect to get there? What does it take? What does it look like? What are we doing every day, every week, every month, or every year, depending on, how long that is. So you create the needs assessment for every area, but then you have to review it and make the plan and start focusing on key parts. You're not going to change your entire life over. I believe there are about 15 areas of your life, and I talk about that in one of my high level, programs or advisory groups, as I like to call it. But it's not going to take 1 year to hit all 12. You can touch on all 12, but you're not going to drastically change every single area of your life in 12 months. So you may want to focus on a few each year. And that's why you have these people with 10, 20, 30-year life plans. You can make massive changes in a year, 5 years, 3 years, and so forth and so on. But the more laser focused you are in a concentrated area with the plan, because you started with the needs assessment, either you're going to get some areas stronger or you're going to bring up some areas that are your quote unquote weaker for improvement. But you still need to start with the needs assessment and review it. And then you implement strategies to enhance those areas and start communicating with your team, especially in the life area. If you're a new parent and you have a partner, instead of you feeling like you're taking everything on, are you communicating with your partner like, this is what I need from you, instead of assuming, trying to be super parent? If you are in a business relationship and you have a business partner, are you being the martyr, saying like, oh gosh, everything always falls on me, but you're not communicating what you need from that partner to build a team? If you are a quote unquote solopreneur, and I've seen people who built massive businesses only being they're one person, but they still have remote people that they talk to. They found ways to automate their lives, you know, uh, house cleaning or takeout services, driving, even. Those are part of building a team and implementing strategies, but they all take a form of communication. But you have to figure out what you want and what works for you, or working with the coach to say, you know what, have you considered this way and this could work for you? And then establishing regular communication with your coach or mentor in sessions. It doesn't always take weekly sessions. I remember when I started one-on-one coaching, it was like 12 weeks, and I had a client and we would meet every week, and it would be like, okay, this is your plan. Did you check in? And I personally did not like that. I don't even think she needed that, but that's how I structured it. So it may not take weekly check-ins, but you still need time to get out there, get the strategy, get messy, and then come back. And you getting messy could be 2 weeks, or there are some coaches who only talk to their, high performing clients once a month or once every quarter because of the nature of the project or who that person is. But regular check-ins are always needed, but it doesn't mean it has to be weekly. You have to know what works for you to keep you at that level. Did we hear about the Olympic coach athletes? They are checking with their coaches regularly, but then there are some who, they go to some smaller coaches, when it's time to tweak certain things, and they may not talk to the head coach until, a few months into the season, right? To make sure, okay, now I'm ready for this level. Let me go check in to tweak my plan, because, they say, hey, I need you to do this for 6 weeks. Stay on it. Get you an accountability partner, stay on that. And then when you're at the 5 week mark, come in and check with me to make sure that we either are going to stay to this plan or not. They don't need the main person coming every week. Did you do it? Or how does this look? So you have to consider that. And that comes with communication and knowing yourself. And then if you're a coach, knowing your clients. All right. So those are some of I hope that gives you a different insight on what it looks like to build synergy and collaboration for productivity and building your results team. All of this is about getting in results. When we hear teams, it's like, oh, someone just to help me, but help you do what? And just all be accountable. I've seen so many accountability groups fall flat because it's not just about helping someone be accountable. It's about getting the results. So you want to be strategic in what systems you put in place and what people you put in place to make sure that you're going to get the results. And make sure that you're part of a winning team, because you're not always the star person in whatever atmosphere. You could be a supporting role to someone else, but you want to make sure that you're still in that synergy and that collaboration and in that communication to help that person win. It could be family. You could be the person who babysits or who tutors, your niece or nephew or somebody in the community. You may not be the main person of that, but you're a supporting role. So we need to understand ourselves when we're the center when we're the hub of the team and where we have to coach the team and facilitate, and then we have to understand when we are team members. And I think when you understand your role for that, then that will help you get the results that you're looking for, both personally and professionally. So as you take those notes and as we wrap up, I do want to invite you to our 3R virtual expo, which is from resume to reinvention to remarkable. It is going down on August 15th through the 18th. Now it is pre-recorded, and the reason why there's a time frame is because I want you to get those videos and interviews watched, to take notes, because if you upgrade to VIP, we're going to do a special workshop to make sure that you get your plan and have your strategy in place, whether you decide to continue to work with me or move forward to another coach. I don't want anyone just to take notes and say, oh yeah, that was cool. I want you to leave with something tangible to get you moving so that you can stay in the game and keep that momentum. And we can talk about teams there. And if you focus on your life team overall, I do believe it will boost your productivity in other areas of your life. So let me know your takeaways down below, and I hope to see you at the virtual expo soon. If not, stay connected for future events as well. Until next time.
Are you making your dash dazzle? You know, that gap between your birthday and your sunset? If not, you're doing a huge disservice to your community, to yourself, and to your family. Hi, I'm Vernita Glenn White, and I want to welcome you to the virtual expo, from resume to reinvention to remarkable. This isn't just an event, it is a movement to bankrupt the burial plots. Now, you may be thinking, well, that sounds a bit morbid, or what is that, and how is that even possible? Well, keep listening. I've curated a special group of experts, and together we're going to show you the benefits and importance of being able to shift from an employee mindset to an entrepreneurial way of thinking with ease. Now, your dreams, your goals, and your aspirations are way too big to be contained in a box of your current situation or trapped in the mind. And my guests have figured out the secrets to what it means to truly get out of your own way while you're still living on this planet. They are ready to reveal these secrets to you so you can turn those possibilities into reality and make your dash dazzle. So what inspired me to take on this huge task? Well, before I was born, I learned that my grandfather had an opportunity to purchase some land, and before it turned into a major tourist attraction. He also wanted to start his own barbecue venture. Then later on, my mother had a vision to become a major Christian author and speaker for women and young adults who wanted to understand the Bible in a practical way. But unfortunately, in 2012, both my grandfather and my mother passed away 3 weeks apart, and all those ideas and dreams went into the graveyard with them. Now, every time I visit the site, I see new plots, and I can't help but wonder what inventions, communities, or businesses will never get to experience because maybe that person thought they had more time, maybe they didn't have the courage to get started, or they lacked the persistence to keep going. Or perhaps they got too comfortable with the success they already had and didn't go for more. We'll never know their reasons, but right now you have a choice, and I don't want you to live with any regrets. So I'm launching this movement to help you step into more courage, persistence, and ways to think bigger. As a former mathematics teacher and college professor, I understand your need for a plan and wanting the step-by-step to get the right answer. So consider this virtual experience as a series of secret formulas only for the people who are ready to embrace their brilliance, explore new possibilities, and expand their minds for bigger goals, and finally achieve the results that will leave an impact on this planet. I felt myself heading this way. Even with all my degrees and accolades, I knew I was hiding behind comfortable success, and the tug to do more was getting harder and harder to ignore. So if that sounds like you, or you want that to be you, in the box next to or underneath this video, there's a place to insert your name, email, and phone number to get access now. When you click Get Access Now, I'll send you an email right away with all the details for this curated virtual expo. Now imagine this, the expo is over and you let out a sigh of relief because you finally heard that one thing that clears some of the messiness in your mind that has been blocking you from the money or the manifestation you needed to catapult you into being the solution to hundreds, thousands, or even millions of people. That's the feeling of being remarkable, and you deserve that to feel like that every single day. Be sure to enter your name, email, and number so I can give you something extra special before the virtual expo begins. It's time to make your dash dazzle, and I'll see you on the other side.